Are you frustrated with your golf game? Do you feel that you've got a lot more distance in you than what you're able to hit currently, and you've just been trying so hard, looking at every bit of golf instruction you possibly can to figure out how you can squeeze some more yardage out of this club right here or any of the clubs in your bag? Well, let me tell you one of the reasons why you can't, and it's because of the modern teaching methods and the modern swing theory. They're all wrong. They're holding you back. As proof of this, I want to tell you, the best swing that's ever been developed was developed back in the 1930s. Did you know a guy named Mike Austin in 1974, at the age of 64, at the Las Vegas Senior Open, hit a drive 515 yards, and that still stands today as the longest drive ever hit in a professional golf tournament ever. Now think about that for a second. Let's just think about that for a second. Modern golf theory, modern equipment, better balls, better clubs, better instruction. You would think that in 50 years, somebody would have been able to challenge that record. Somebody out there, with all the long hitters that we have on the PGA Tour now, somebody would have come at least close to 515 yards, especially when you stop and think that Mike Austin did that with a persimmon driver and an old Balata ball at the age of 64, yet nobody's come even close. The Guinness Book of World Records held Mike's record in their book ever since he hit that drive in 1974 all the way up until the late 90s. Then for some reason they changed it, and now if you look it up, you'll see that it says the longest drive hit since 2004, and that was accomplished by Davis Love III, and it was 400 yards or so. But if you look at the older books, you'll see that that drive was verified and is still the record to this day. Well, why is that? Well, it's because somewhere along the lines, people thought that they had a better method of teaching, and that crept in to the teaching all throughout the golf industry. People came up with different swing methods, and what you're being taught now is such a far departure from the most effective, efficient, and powerful swing that you could possibly have. Take a look at golfers like Lydia Ko. Lydia Ko was #1 in the world. She went to a certain instructor who will remain nameless. Many of you know who he was. And he decided he had a new swing method, so he taught it to Lydia Ko, and it basically destroyed her golf swing. She went from being #1 in the world to being just another obscure golfer on the tour. She ultimately left that instructor and has worked hard to get back to the original form that she had. But what my point is just because something is new doesn't mean it's improved. And just because there are new swing thoughts and methods and theories that are out there, and people are using TrackMan and they're using all this data and they're coming up with their theories on what works and what doesn't, that doesn't mean it's right. That's just a theory. Facts are facts. Mike Austin was known as an extremely long hitter. It was said that Mike Austin was hitting 400-yard drives back in Bobby Jones' day. That's just mind-boggling. His #1 protege, Mike Dunaway, came along the scene in the late 70s, early 80s. He was still using a persimmon driver and Balata balls, and he learned Mike Austin's swing, and he was hitting drives 385 yards long before anyone else would ever dream of that. In fact, in those days, a 300-yard drive was extremely rare. As for myself, I'm 57 years old, and when I go and play at the local courses around here in the Tampa Bay, Florida area, I am consistently out-driving people 20 years younger than me. And that distance transfers to my irons as well. I studied the Mike Austin swing, and I developed what I call the Your Simple Golf Swing method. And it's based solely on Mike Austin's teachings and Mike Dunaway's teachings. I used to struggle with distance. I would go out there with my buddies to play golf, and we were all about the same average, hitting about 220, 230. On a real good day with a good tailwind, we might hit 240. So I knew that I needed to get more distance. I was starting to score in the high 70s, and I was getting excited. And I just felt, if I really want to take my game to the next level, I need to get better at golf. So the first thing I did is I started watching more and more of modern teaching. And there were some things I was doing in my swing that did not mesh with modern teaching. So I tried to take my swing from what I was doing to a more technically sound method. And you know what happened to me? I quickly started to score in the 80s and in the 90s and higher, and I started to lose distance, and I got so frustrated. Then one day I stumbled across Mike Dunaway, and I bought his DVD and I watched it, and it blew me away. And that DVD was the first introduction I ever got to this guy named Mike Austin. So I looked into Mike Austin, I studied everything I could, and I started to study the swing and tried to teach it to myself. And I slowly started to learn it. And then one day, it finally clicked and I got it. I went out to play golf with my buddies, and I had been working on the swing for a long time, but I had not taken it to the course. Finally, a day came. I was halfway through my round. I wasn't playing particularly well, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to do this Mike Austin swing that I've been working on. The very first time that I tried it off the tee box, me and one of my buddies were playing, and like I said, we were usually neck and neck with our driving distance. When we were on this par 4, and he hit a really good drive, just normal drive for him, and I unleashed my Mike Austin swing. When we got up to our balls, he was hitting a 4-iron in to the green. I was hitting a 9-iron in. He was looking at me going, what in the world just happened? How did you hit it that far? And I just smiled, and I kept it to myself. Well, since then, I worked hard on teaching the swing to other people. I've made lots of YouTube videos. I had viewers asking me if I could put together a full-length course that took you from beginning to end, everything from taking the proper grip, your setup, your stance, the takeaway, your backswing, your transition, the proper hand action, and I put it all together in a comprehensive course. And this course, none of the footage that's in this course has been posted to YouTube. Every bit of footage, every bit of instruction that is in this course was developed, filmed, and created specifically for my course. I released the course about 10 months ago, and I have had just phenomenal feedback from all of my students. I've literally had hundreds of students take the course and come back and thank me over and over and over for taking the time and the effort to make this available to all of you. So if you're interested in checking it out, just go down to the link down in my description, click on it, it'll take you to the yoursimplegolfswing.com website, and from there you can get introduced to the course. Thanks so much. Have a great day.